This video is sponsored by Game Toppers. Turn your own kitchen or dining room table into a premium portable game solution at a fraction of the cost. Hey everybody, welcome to Drive Thru Review 762. Today we're going to talk about Ready, Set, Bet. This is a new game from AEG and designed by John D. Clair, who's most famous probably for Mystic Vale and Edge of Darkness and Dead Reckoning, which are those kind of card crafting games with the clear card sleeves. I know he's done other stuff too. This is not like those games at all. So what this is simply is a horse betting, horse racing game. We've seen a lot of those over the years. Winner's Circle, Long Shot, there's a few others. Reiner Knizia did a couple. And so it's been kind of a theme that has cropped up over the years. This one does something a little bit different. So let's go down to the table and I'll come back and tell you what I think. Okay, so the game is basically this board, okay? And this is kind of your betting table. I set this up for a 4-player game. It does play technically up to 9 players. I'll talk more about that in the review portion. But each player in this case is going to get a little set of betting tokens, right? And these are numbered 2 through 5, and there's 2 number 3 tokens. So what's going to happen is over the course of the game, the race is going to be happening. And while the race is going on, players are putting their tokens on these different spots, kind of like a craps table in a way. And you can never put a token on top of another one. There actually is a special ability that might give you that ability, but the basic rule is that you won't be doing that. And so you've been putting those out. Now, at some point during the race, whether the race ends or there's a trigger that will happen, then bets will freeze and you have to kind of wait out the end of the race. And then you will collect your winnings, theoretically, if certain things happen. So you can see here are the different horses, and they're 2, 3 through 11, 12. So you might be able to deduce that these are analogous to 2d6, so 2 6-sided dice. So you can roll snake eyes or a 1 and a 2, and the 2 to 3 horse will move, then the 4, all the way up to the 11, 12 horse. Now you see where you're betting here. You've got these different colors, so the yellow, then gray, and then kind of like an off yellow here. These are represented by different columns. And this is win, place, and show, which you can see right up there. So if, let's say, you were the purple player, you bet the 5 horse to win, then if it's true that he wins, you will get 2, in this case, times that amount. So you would get $8 back. If that didn't happen, you can see, zoom in a little bit, the little red thing here, you would lose $2. So after all the bets are done, the race is over, you're going to collect all your winnings. You're going to do that first, so you'll pull these off as you go and collect, I won this one, I won this one. And then you're going to subtract all of your losing amounts. So you collect all your winnings first, and then subtract your losing. So 1, then you grab this, and then you start reducing it. You can never go below 0. And then you do that 4 times, so you have 4 races. So one thing to quickly show you, in case you're not familiar with horse racing, is if you win, you win. You're the first horse over, you win. Now, if you're second place, then you place. But the first place one is also considered to have placed, right? So if you win, you basically get everything to the left. You won, placed, and showed. Place is second or lower, and show is third. So the second place horse also counts as having showed. So win, place, show. You're betting on first, second, or third. It's a little bit, more of a hedge to bet on show because it can fit into any of those, where win is very specific. Now, the other thing you can do is bet on a color. Win, blue, orange, and red. And so you have the blues, the oranges, and the reds here, and then you've got the 7 horse there in the middle because it's black in this case, or non-colored, because the 7 is going to get rolled a lot, because on a 2d6 it's easier to roll a 7 than anything else. So you can bet on the color. You can see the 5x pays out for blue because the chances of blue winning are a lot less than orange and then red. They also have at the top here the prop bets. So let's just zoom in on those. And a new set of 5 of these will be dealt out every race. So over the course of 4 races, you'll be betting on 20 of those. So in this case, if at the end of the race, the 11-12 horse is ahead of the 9 horse, then you would win 3 times, again, whatever you put on there. So in this case, it would be 9. If you don't win, then you lose $3. And again, these can only have 1 token on them. And this is, is the 10 horse ahead of the 9 horse? Is the 9 horse ahead of the 6 horse? And so on. So there's just a bunch of little combos like that, where the odds are not in your favor. So those are the prop bets. Now, if we go down here, This is the exotic finish, and these are probably more like real life prop bets than the prop bets. But so there's 5 of these, but you're only going to deal out 1 per round, so you're only going to see 4 of them in the races here. So each race there's going to be a new one added. So this one is the second place horse loses by exactly 1 space. And you can see there's spots for multiple people to put it on these cards. Or this one is the third place horse loses by 3 or fewer spaces. So they're very, very specific things that have a high payout and not too bad of a negative if you don't win them. But if you do win them, it can pay out pretty big. So again, you're going to deal new ones each race until the 4th race there. Now after the first race, you're going to start to deal out these VIP cards. So after each race, players will get 2 VIP cards. They can then choose, and they put one in front of them, and then they discard the other one. So this one, for example, is Snake Eyes and Boxcar. So win $1 every time a 2 or 12 is rolled. Okay, great. Or this one is High Roller. Your bets in the win column pay an additional X amount based on the color. And some of these will let you break the rules. Like I said, you can sometimes get the piggyback one to place one of your tokens on top of there. Sometimes you will get these extra kind of like bonus tokens. There's 2 sets of these in different colors. So they give you kind of an extra bet token, but it's theoretically possible to lose more with this, because if I put this on here, yeah, I might get an extra 4 that I could, multiply by 3, but I'll lose an extra buck if I fail on that one. Although some of them will actually cancel out the negative part of it, so it makes you do an easy kind of, high risk bet with one of these. And there's some other little combos and stuff like that. So you play over the course of the 4 rounds and then you win. So I've talked about all kind of like the boring part. Now, the game by itself, there's a little board here, 2d6. You roll, there's little horse tokens you move. That's dumb. You don't want that. What you want is this app. So this is an app. This is running on iOS. Might be a little loud actually. And so what happens, instead of having one of the players kind of act as the house and roll dice and move horses on this track, you're just going to go in here. You can do recorded games. I don't understand why those are in this app. It's basically pre-recorded games that I guess you could memorize. I'm not sure. But this randomizes what you want.
Hello, one and all, and welcome to Ready, Set, Bet. It's a beautiful day for another exciting series of races. Press the play button.
Here we go. So it's going to start. The app's going to start rolling dice.
The number 5 stallion coming out of the gate early.
Now people are placing bets.
Snake Eyes, the 2-3 horse leaves the gate early.
Now if you roll the same dice in a row, let's see if it does it.
Snake Eyes, the 2-3 horse.
It will get a bonus movement, but based on the color and the odds.
Puts the number 6 mare.
There we go. You got an extra bonus there.
Keeps the lead. The number 4 mare has left.
Now if the blue ones get extra, they actually get a couple of extra spaces, and the yellow gets 2, and then the reds get 1, something like that. So it's going to, even though these odds are less on the outside, when they do get back to back, it moves quite a bit. But the odds are something you have to keep in mind.
The number 9 mare wastes no time, using the back-to-back bonus to take the lead.
Now let's pause it, which we can do. Once a horse finishes, then of course the race will end, no more bets. Once 3 horses get past the red line, also no more bets. Although there is a special VIP card that allows you to bet, even after that case. But usually the race is about to end anyway once that 3rd one gets over there. So you keep doing that, and then I'm not going to show it here, but it'll have a results screen because there's different like special ability cards that will interact. It makes it easy to count, like for a lot of those. So it knows all the information that could be relevant to somebody, and it will show all that. And then you just place, you just do 4 races like this. Now again, you don't need the app. You could use this board here. Let me zoom out a little bit. And there's different little colored horses and stuff like that. And you can have somebody kind of barking out and, making fun voices like this guy. So you can kind of do it either way with this, but I'll talk about it more in the review. But I vastly recommend this app.
The 2-3 horse rolls back to back and leaps into the lead.
Okay, so that is Ready, Set, Bet. I'll briefly go over my pillars of review, but they're not really applicable here. Now the game plays 2 to 9 players. Okay, and I've not played it with 2. At least I played it with those 3. I played it 3 and 4, and then I actually watched a 5-player game, which I'll get to in a minute. Now the rules are basically all the same, other than the number of people in there. Except for the 9-player game, you have one player kind of dedicated rolling the dice and making house bets, which I frankly don't even remember the rules for. I haven't played with that. And honestly, that sounds lame. It might be fun. But compared to playing with the app, which I'll get to in a minute, I kind of talked through in my walkthrough, it just sounds lame. So now, what's the playtime on this thing? I always talk about playtime, 45 to 60 minutes. Well, that seems long to me, actually. Once you get the hang of it, maybe your first game, I guess, but once you get the hang of it, it goes really quickly. Most of the time is taken in kind of counting up your stuff, because you can get a lot of bets out there and a lot of like, okay, so I won this one, lost this one, this multiplied by this, and da-da-da. So, and if you have more people at the table doing that, it'll take a little bit of extra time. But the races all are about 5 minutes or so long, and you only do 4 of them. So you're looking at 20 to 30 minutes there, plus a little bit of, counting time. So it shouldn't really take you an hour. But it's really quick. It's really bite-sized. And the thing that's great about this, honestly, is the app. It's fantastic what they have here, because you saw with some of the music and the atmospheric sounds and kind of the energetic voice and all that kind of stuff. And because the app is kind of driving it, you don't really know when it's going to roll. Because if a person's doing it, you can see them pick up the dice, you can see them roll, so you can kind of have this thing, the person that rolls could kind of be like, hey, everybody got your bets in, and they will kind of wait for you. The app does not wait for you. The app is going, and people are putting stuff down. And we play it where, like, hey, if you put it down on the wrong spot, and because if you look at, like, you're too bad, because that's just part of the game. So this real-time kind of frantic idea is really cool. And like, if somebody puts on a spot that you wanted to go on, it's just like, I was going to go there. That's fun. And there's a lot of shouting. There's a lot of like hooting and hollering. And you're really pulling for, these different horses, these virtual horses to win or place or show, or one of your prop bets might be in play. And that kind of extra dimension to the game makes a lot of fun. You got the exotic finishes, those bets, which are really like prop bets to me, like very weird esoteric bets that Vegas would take on just random stuff, like how many times will a quarterback get sacked in the Super Bowl, things like that. There's very specific things. What they call prop bets here are cool though too. They're kind of just a little bit more simplistic. But the atmosphere of this game is just a ton of fun. Now, you could have somebody that wanted to play like as the house or as the person rolling the dice, and if they kind of like, kind of whooped it up a little bit, it could be a lot of fun in that case. I think that could be a lot of fun. But because this is this exterior quality, this exterior kind of persona that's doing this, driving the race, it just makes it that much more fun to me. One thing, so I talked about, I played it 3 and 4 players, and actually watched a 5-player game, and that was like the first time I experienced this game. I had not really heard of this game, and there was just a loud noise coming from the other room. I was like, what in the heck are they doing over there? And I went in and watched the game, and I was like, I need this game. Because it was just, they were having so much fun with it, just like hooting and hollering and cheering for these horses, which is all just random dice. And I've just sucked me right in. And then playing it is just really fun, like figuring the odds and all that stuff. Like it's this cool thing, because you're like trying to like calculate the odds on the matrix of the table, but then you're just like, I don't have time. I have to bet on something because this race is going to be over. That combo is just really, really fun. And then kind of the camaraderie of everybody that you're playing with, because everybody's trying to kind of, find their angle in there and find it before everybody else. And there's just lots of trash talk and just cheering and booing and all this stuff, that's happening. And it's just really, really neat that a game like this, you take the betting stuff out of it and all that stuff, but a game that has like this atmospheric piece to it. Because if you want to be a super curmudgeon about it, you can get rid of the app and just be this anti-technology person. That's fine. But this atmospheric piece, because the app isn't even really doing anything. The only thing it's doing is rolling dice. But because of the voice, the sound of it, and just kind of the intensity of it, it just lifts the game to this whole other level. And I'm like, this is really kind of a neat concept to me, because you have this, again, this almost purely atmosphere thing, this quality, this electronic piece that is driving this very traditional board game, this tactical, putting the token on the mat, looking at the odds, looking at kind of these weird kind of outlier bets, interacting with some of the special ability cards that you get, and all that kind of stuff in this real-time kind of thing. And then you have this sort of energetic sort of just engine just pumping in energy into the game experience. It's just freaking cool. Really, really cool. So I would like to see more of this. That doesn't necessarily wrap around betting. I mean, long story short, we've now set up a casino and we're all in the mafia. I'm joking, but I mean, I could see people playing this. We were joking around like, oh, we should actually bet real money on this. And it was like, oh, that would probably ruin the game group. Probably crash and burn. And, it's a terrible idea, but like, that would be kind of a lot of fun. Everybody throws in like $10 or something. And then, you calculate the money at the end, and then you give, a certain percentage to the winner. And then, I've already thought about this. And then second place, in terms of the points of this money you get, would get, X percentage. You could do that. I mean, that would be a lot of fun if you're a gambling type. I don't think you need to do that. I don't think you need to introduce real money into this to have fun with it, though. Like, I don't at all. But if you wanted to, and you're that kind of person, you could have a lot of fun with that. This is just really fun. Just one of like the most purely fun experiences I've had with a board game in a long time. And again, I think you got to do the app with it. It's really got to be there to carry that experience over. Having that other player kind of roll dice. If you got the right personality there that wanted to do it, like I said, I watched the game. The first time I saw this, and kind of like my first experience with it is I watched the game. So I could see myself wanting to go in there and like be the person that's just rolling the dice, and moving the horses and trying to get. That's not really. I could see that being fun once or so. I'm trying to sort of like manufacture excitement is not something I typically can get into, and not with horse racing. You know what I mean? Like, it gotta have to be something else. But so if you're really against the app, you can kind of get into that. But the app itself, because you can just like leave that, you don't need that personality in there. The app's gonna create that and just bring that out of everybody. All right, so Ready, Set, Bet, just easy recommendation. Family group, gamer group, whatever you got. It's been fun, and it's just really cool. And then you can play with money and then lose friendships. I mean, don't do that, but whatever. Use that restraint in that regard. But yeah, this is really cool, really neat. I really like this idea. I'm going to harp on it one more time. The atmosphere of the app adds. It does not really add much in the game dynamics. It rolls some dice. That's it, and then moves the horses, which is just book work. The atmosphere of it's just awesome. I would love to see more of that, because a lot of these apps and stuff, they're like, oh, we have this thing that drives the AI and does this. Even like Oathsworn and something, that kind of doesn't really do very much. It has more atmosphere than anything, because it has a great voice actor. This is kind of in that same ballpark. It's like the app is adding atmosphere. Or like Descent, 3rd edition, or Legends of the Dark, that was driving the game, a lot of parts of the game. Mansions of Madness, that's really driving the engine of the game. The whole game is tied to that. And that's cool. I like both those games, Descent and Mansions of Madness. But I like this idea of an app that just is having that little spark to the game table. And that's a neat thing. Okay, so thanks. Take a look.